There. Ayubon, and welcome back, everyone, to Beyond the Northern Wall, your weekly talk show with me, your host, Kayla Malari. We are in the anime series right now, and admittedly, today was a weird day. I had tarot. If you followed during the Nightmare series, you know I have some crazy nightmares. I had 2 brand new ones last night. 2 didn't end well, so I kind of had a weird day. And so I got through the day by thinking about today's episode. And today's episode is... Oh! Hey, if you don't want to watch me, you can tune on to Twitch and watch my twin star. She's live right now on Twitch. But if you... I know, sorry, I did get a fresh cut. It's all nice and true. It feels so good. I thought about today's episode, which is anime recommendations. And... some of the corpsmen will actually give you their recommendations, and I thought about what that means when you're talking about anime and people say, well, what should I watch? Oftentimes it's either they ask because they're not into anime, and so they're just trying to get into it, or they just want to know what anime you watch to kind of get a feel of what you are. What are you? Are you human? Or are you dancer? I hope Soulmate heard that. She's listening while she's driving home from work. That was for her. Or anyone who knows my old collegiate team. Anyways, so recommendations. Now there's a lot. There's a plethora of anime recommendations that we can throw out there. I love a lot of different... Okay, actually, you know what? We're going to scratch all that. Warning, predecessor... I actually don't watch a lot of anime recently. Hello? Hello? Oh, Joseph's home. Well, you're home early. Joseph's home.
Did you start already?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You want to come in later?
Huh?
You want to come in later?
Sure.
Cool. Joseph's home. He's home super early. He's been getting home super late from work. So I'm kind of ShamWow. Anyways, what am I talking about? Predecessor. I don't actually watch a lot of anime right now. I don't naturally put it on. In the last 2 years, I think, the only time I really watch anime is when Joseph or Rostin put it on TV. I don't even think at Noble House, Shell didn't watch a lot of anime. Me and Shell actually watch a lot of the same shows, which is Evil or Riverdale, regrettably, but still indulgently. But the only recent one I've really watched other than Boku no Hero was Demon Slayer, and both Boku no Hero and Demon Slayer I watched because I had to, because we were going to do it for a set, or we were going to perform it, or everyone was like, this is the new big thing, you have to watch it for the possibility of doing it later on. Those are the only 2 reasons why I ever watched anime. So a lot of my anime watching experience has been from the past. It's strange because I tend to go towards manga. If a movie was a book before, or if the MCU were comic books before, or even DC comic books before, most anything that was either a book, a comic book, or a manga, I most likely read the hard material before I watched it, or I stopped watching it to read the hard material. I like manga a lot better. So I don't know why. I like reading. I have my reading chair. And Rasa got me a reading light for Christmas. So I like reading things more and then going back and watching it. I did that with a lot of the anime that I recommended here. But there are some that I didn't actually read beforehand, or didn't read at all. That's very rare. But that's my predecessor. So my anime recommendations, while in depth, aren't as vast as other people on core. There are other corpsmen that when I think of just anime knowledge, I immediately go to Juju or Little Urban, because they know a lot of different things. And then I'll go to Koki and Rio for more of what's mainstream here in the US is so not what's mainstream out in Japan. Rio always cites me for being I know Kayla doesn't like One Piece, But ironically, I know little Rio and Koki love One Piece, but all my One Piece education actually came from the ladies over at SPJA, the Society for the Promotion of Japanese Culture Art. SPJA, Japanese Art. the company that runs AX. So Sammy, Speed, and Diana and Francis, they actually educated me on how One Piece is so much bigger in Japan than it is here in the US, and like what it means, because they're big One Piece fans too. So the whole culture and the idea behind anime, I'm not as up to date as like other people around me. With that being said, it when I do watch anime, I analyze it overtly with enthusiasm, much aggression. And I love that part about it. I love that anime can be super multifaceted. So a lot of the anime I recommend to people are usually not, they're either one of two things, like I said. They're either, what do I recommend that's really going to make you want to watch more anime? Because you can't always give your favorites to a newcomer. Like, you can't just be like throwing out something that's super in depth and they're like, I'm new, and that's going to put me off completely. Like, there's some of my lists I would not recommend right away. They're like crowd pleaser ones where I'm like, if you watch this, it's going to entice you to watch more later on. Or if you're like a seasoned anime person and you're trying to get a recommendation to kind of get an idea of what my personal affiliation is towards, then I'll throw out like the in-depth ones, and then we will talk about it a lot. So without further ado, what are my recommendations for anime? Well, if we're gonna kind of go chronologically, not really, but chronologically in my timeline, my human timeline, not even, okay, I'm looking at it, it's not even, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Anyways, my first one that I usually, not the first one, but one of the ones that I always talk about at cons, when people ask, what's your favorite? What's your number one? I always say, I pointed the right way, yes. FLCL, Fully Cooley. Now, what is Fully Cooley? It is not for the faint of heart. Oh, sorry, you guys don't, sorry, Tamia. Hey, Tamia. She wanted to see my shirt really quick. I got this shirt, oh, it's on the back here. I'll have Joseph read the tag. I got it at a con. It's One Punch plus Fight Club, two of my favorite things, and they turned it into a Fight Club. Yeah, so that's my shirt. I'm also wearing my Captain America pajama pants. Anyways, so Fully Cooley, not for the faint of heart. Only 6 episodes long, so short. Not a lot of people that I have the same taste as don't actually really like Fully Cooley, and then other people really love it as much as I do. Here's what it is. Nobody knows. I'm not kidding you. Nobody know. Most people don't know how to describe what this is, because when you first watch it through, it's like chaotic evil. There's no order whatsoever. They don't explain anything. I think they break the fourth wall a lot, which throws you off, as especially when it's in the narrative of the main character, breaking a fourth wall, but then not consistently, or even addressing that you broke the fourth wall, throws things into a loop. Super existential. It's a coming of age story about the little kid. Okay, wait, you can't see me point. Where is it? This kid right here. Naota, but they call him Takun. So Takun is the main character. And then this is, Haruno. She's awesome. She's the reason why I want a Vespa. Not a yellow one like she has, but I've always wanted a Vespa. She's the reason my sister has a seafoam green Fender, and that's how she learned guitar when we were kids. So Fully Cooley is a coming of age tale about this kid Takun. And that's really all I can tell you about it. Haruno's an alien pirate queen, kind of? I don't know. Takun has this interdimensional portal in his brain where he can pull things from space out of his head. And then there's a factory that represents like communism in the world by an iron that's ironing out the wrinkles of the world. And Haruno is like allegory for growing up and not really understanding things, and you know, a kid going through puberty, but also he's dealing with his older brother who left him behind, and he's with a dad who's there's a lot of stuff going around. Oh, Haruko, sorry, not Haruno. Haruko. There's a lot going on with Fully Cooley. Not everyone's gonna like it. I saved this for like hardcore parkour anime fans, but it's one of my favorites. I think it's so multifaceted. I think the way it addresses things by not like you know when you play a video game and they do like the intro level and they introduce you to everything. Fully Cooley does not do that. It literally throws you just into the story and you kind of have to figure it out as you go along. I love that about it. I also love that the soundtrack is so good. I forget the band who did it, but the soundtrack is like token, kind of punk, kind of classic rock, Japanese rock. It's so good. I remember me and my sister listened to that soundtrack so many times. Little Busters, it's my favorite song. That was their fight song. Now they had a sequel and they have 2 seasons sequel to it, but I hold to the first season. This stood alone on its own for years. 6 episodes long. Not for the faint of heart. Not to say that it's like it's not super gory, it's not overly sexualized, it's not NSFU, it's not super mature, they don't really say bad words. It's just like it's gonna make you think. And a lot of people are like, I don't like it because I don't like okay, I'm gonna date myself right now. If you've ever watched the indie films Best in Show or Waiting for Guffman, that's the kind of humor they kind of attend to in this. No one's gonna know what I'm talking about unless my sister's watching and she's gonna know what I'm talking about. But that's like, okay, what's another more like kind of like Napoleon Dynamite, where the jokes are so bizarre and they don't land for everyone. You have to have a very niche humor to get the humor in this. It's so stupid, but it's so good. I love FLCL. Now, if you're going like with what really got me when I was a kid, D.N.Angel. Raise your hand if you're a D.N.Angel fan, because oh my gosh. And I'm talking about not just the anime, but you gotta read the manga too. Even though the manga didn't really finish and then she just continued it recently. It's a whole thing. But one, if you know me and Nifa, you know we love art history. Like art history is beautiful. And what I love about D.N.Angel, it's about an art thief. How do I say this? I'm just gonna say that. It's about an art thief. That's it. Because to give anything else away gives away the whole anime bars. But the artwork from the manga was beautifully done, and then they explore different living artworks that come to life and have full stories. I think the stories they make for these original artworks that they have, like they're not like you're not stealing the Mona Lisa and the Mona Lisa is going to come to life and she has a whole backstory. It's not like that. These are all like, anime stories. It's very fantastical. It's very fantasy driven. I just really love the stories behind all the artwork and then the overarching story of who the Phantom Thief is and his existence altogether. I think it's beautifully done. I'm obsessed with the character Satoshi Hibatari, also known as Satoshi Hikari. And one of my favorite things about anime is the music. And my favorite anime song is in this. It's White Light, True Light, White Light. White Light, True Light? I can't even remember what it is. But you have to listen to the piano version. The acoustic piano. I made Jenna, our Mikasa, way back when we danced at Disney together. There was one day where we were talking about it and I told her about White Light, True Light. She was like, well, I want to listen to it. So we were already done with our shift. We were just waiting for our shuttle to come pick us up where our show dressing room is. And so we turned off the lights in our little dressing room because we just had one for our 2 characters. And we just played the music on my phone at full blast and we just listened to it. Beautiful piano version. It is gorgeous. The way he composed it specifically for this anime. Oh my God. One, humans are beautiful creatures when they create things. And that song, it hits so deep. I've always wanted... Fun fact, I try to fit it into almost every single core set. So there's a little lilt that happens, a little piano lilt that happens in Beyond the Northern Wall, right when Eren starts to put the scarf on Mikasa, or right before that, when they start to have their moment, right before we end in Fanfiction World. White Light, True Light plays in the background. I also added it into, I'm pretty sure I added it into the Kingdom, and then a part into Return to the Unknown. I snuck it in there. I always sneak it in every time we need something beautiful in the background or like sentimentality wise. Oh yeah, it's definitely in Return to the Unknown. Because it to me, that's what it encompasses. So it's a little Easter egg that I do just for myself. No one notices and no one cares. But I put it in the mix, and when we play it, when we do the sets, I'm like, oh, there it is. And it just makes me so happy. So is that an anime recommendation or is that a music recommendation? Why not both? As Shishi usually says, but in Spanish, but I'm not going to botch that for you. So D.N.Angel, go watch that. That's also very iconic to me, my sister, my little brother. Now, there's another genre of anime that I really love, and it's horror. I love horror because of the hooks it has, and especially because Japanese horror is very jarring. Probably contributes a lot to why I have vicious nightmares, but that's okay. I love scary movies. As has been demonstrated with me and Soulmate, we love scary movies. So I love Japanese horror in anime. I love horror anime. They do things that are very different from American culture in the sense of horror. That's why a lot of foreign films, their horror films there's an underlying tone. Ooh, we can go under underlying tones for days. So not my first one, but one of the most recent horror anime that I really, really liked and did not expect to like. This is something me and Rawson both like together that we don't talk about our love for is Tokyo Ghoul. I really like Tokyo Ghoul. I started it and then stopped because unlike most other horror animes, that first episode didn't hook me in as much as other ones did. And I'm not usually one to hang around if it takes me, like, if people are like, oh my God, once you get to episode 36, it's so good. I'm not one of those. I'm like, episode 30, if it wasn't good for 35 episodes, is it good? So I usually don't go for things like that. But I will say Tokyo Ghoul, by the time I got halfway through, not even 1 through 4, I would say by episode maybe 4 to 5 and on, I would stick around, and I did stick around to get to the later half of at least season 1 of Tokyo Ghoul. I'm telling you, that, first of all, if you want like a tragic hero, Kaneki, oh, it's so sad. Also, I like, kind of spoiler, not spoiler, his relationship with the ghoul Jason is crazy good. Like, twisted. Crazy twisted. But there's a sense of detail to that relationship that resonates throughout the series and then into the manga as you go further on. That was really kind of, I don't want to say beautiful. I was about to say beautiful because it's not beautiful at all. Haunting is the word. It's haunting. What I also really loved is the artwork in the manga translated into the anime really nicely. So as a lot of my favorite mangakas tend to do is that you watch their artwork in the very beginning, go from very simplistic and minimalist and get gradually detailed as time goes on. I mean, that's natural as an artist. You get detailed, you understand your characters a little bit more, so you can add little nuances to, say, their facial features or their movements or how they are portrayed on the page as you learn about them. But what's nice about a lot of manga that's translated to anime is that in the beginning area, it's very minimalistic. So there's a lot of creative leeway once you get to screen. The way they depicted the ghouls and their powers from page to screen, I thought was freaking beautiful. Absolutely stunning. And just like in manga, you don't get a substantial color palette. You get like the cover art, you get the official art, you get the promotion art, but that's about it. The pages themselves aren't colored. So a color palette is very necessary in setting the tone properly for an anime. Ooh, I got too excited. She says that she drinks coffee and definitely doesn't have water around her. What a fool she is. momento. Poor Favor. She has asthma. And we're back. So a color palette with an anime is very crucial. Color palettes in animation in general are a very distinctive aspect. I will make this comparison a lot. Like cartoons and US animation is very different than anime. Partially because of the color palette they use and the hues they use, which is a weird thing to say, but hues are huge when it comes to anime. The color palette they chose, the way they chose to render darkness in Tokyo Ghoul, stunning, because most of what happens in Tokyo Ghoul happens at night. But you can't just have night all the time in an anime. It's just gonna be it's just gonna be shadows and you're not gonna see anything. So they had to think of a creative way. What I love about it is it reminds me of Moonlight, as in the Oscar award winning movie Moonlight, where they use neon lights, like the cools of purple and the warmth of pinks and reds reflecting off of shadows and off of darker palettes to create this effect. I feel that from Tokyo Ghoul. That is it was brilliant. It was beautiful to show their power and essentially their magic in that sense. Made it like this dark fantasy style. The storyline and the lore of ghouls, so creative. Took the original like mythical ghoul, flesh-eating ghoul, and expanded on it in a whole new way. It's freaking brilliant. And then to have Kaneki in there, I mean, spoiler but not a spoiler, he becomes a ghoul, which is like, I mean, it's in the name and you kind of see it. But he doesn't become a ghoul in a conventional sense at all. And then even in that world where he's spanning two species, both human and ghoul, he is an outlier. And the way he's an outlier is so grotesque and warped within the storyline. Y'all, I could talk about Tokyo Ghoul for days. We might just have an episode dedicated completely to it. It is choice. So good. One of our friends who films Sinakosu, Dom, who filmed our final video for Return to the Unknown, she asked me and Koki to choreograph a piece to Breathe. I think the song is Breathe, to depict two of the characters from Tokyo Ghoul. And when we choreographed for it, I hadn't finished Tokyo Ghoul yet. I only knew slightly what the scene was that we were doing. And so we choreographed it and I had to play off of what I was gleaning from like YouTubes or AMVs. And from my knowledge. And then afterwards, after we finished filming it and then I watched that scene, I was actually pleasantly surprised that one, me and Koki got some really good moments that we didn't know we got. But two, I was like, oh, now I want to like go back and redo this because there's so many extra things I want to add in. Even though like, I mean, props to all of us for what we did with that. That's on Vimeo if you ever want to see it. I don't know, like type in Tokyo Ghoul Breathe Accordion Screw, something like that. You'll find it. Anyways, like horror, love this. Now, ironically, when we say horror, we think of, Little said it, Another, or we think of Tokyo Ghoul, or we think of, what was that? The Library Club, that really scary video game that Kyla told me about when we were driving back from Fresno and it was dark and it was crazy. Anyways, we think of those and we think of like Elfen Lied. Raise your hand if you know about Elfen Lied, and that first episode that literally comes out of nowhere and just kind of shocks you into registering, oh my gosh, everybody's dying. Now, Elfen Lied was crazy. That first episode, like, what a hook. If you don't know, spoiler alert. Spoiler alert for Elfen Lied. The show opens with like this facility. You know, there's a facility. And there's a girl. And she's just like naked. She's just hovering there naked in this facility. Clearly being like experimented on. She's got this helmet on. All of a sudden, she starts killing like everyone around her. All the guards, everyone in the lab. It just starts they just start dying, but like dying horribly. Like there's a lot of blood in Elfen Lied. And then she just walks through this laboratory, this secret lab, just decimating people as she goes. It is graphic. It is intense because she's not doing it with her hands. She's just walking and they're being ripped apart. And I remember watching that going, what did they explain? And I rewound it a couple of times, like to the beginning, because I was like, did I miss the explanation for this? Oh no, we're just gonna go into, okay, we're just gonna spend the rest of the episode just brutally murdering and like eviscerating people. Cool, got it. And then you watch the rest of the anime from there. But like, what a hook for a first episode. Now, Elfen Lied didn't make it onto my list, but another one with a very jarred first episode, which I mean, it shouldn't be a surprise that this is one of my recommendations. It's technically considered a horror anime, but it gets overshadowed by its shonen elements, which is of course Attack on Titan. Let's give this one a minute, because as we know, Attack on Titan is very near and dear to our hearts. I think I'm the only one right now who's kept up with Attack on Titan in the manga. For a while, Toby and Juju were with me, and then Toby's like saving the world because he's a doctor and wear your mask, and then Juju has is in school, so like that's a thing. They have other things to concentrate on. So I'm the only one who is up to date in Attack on Titan. So don't worry if you're up to date on Attack on Titan. I know. I understand your pain. I'm there with you. This last chapter. Oh, spoiler alert for anyone who's not read the last chapter. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. I will always throw this up if it's a spoiler alert. You can mute me until my hands come down. Spoiler alert for the current chapter of Attack on Titan. Oh my gosh. Armin and Levi's monologues. Armin's monologue is like the inner monologue of every Capricorn, Virgo, Cancer, Scorpio, Taurus. Like, and not in a good way. Not in like that's who they really are. No, in like a really horrible negative. This is just a lot of sadness and like self-doubt and self-judgment and lack of self-fulfillment. Like, it's like Armin tore my heart up. Zeke, I mean, people have feelings for Zeke. I don't have feelings for Zeke. Levi. Okay. There's no happy ending for Levi. We know this. That's been gone long ago. Everyone he's ever loved and everyone he's ever cared about is gone. He himself is halfway out the door of death. So at this point, we just hope he just goes down like quietly. At least, poor thing, his whole life is sadness. Anyways. Okay. So Attack on Titan. I literally make people watch the first episode, and I make them watch the first episode with me, and I sit there and I watch them watch the first episode. Because talk about a first episode that hooks you in, because like slow burn into aggressive. That ending of episode 1 is so jarring. Every person, when like Attack on Titan wasn't as big, when it was just starting to come in, when we weren't even Survey Corps yet at this point. Matt had just gotten me and Sonali into it, and me and Sonali were slowly infecting our friends into watching it. And I was slowly infecting my friends and my family into watching it. And I would watch them watch it. And I loved that moment at the end when the Titan appears and everything, like, it's going down for real. It is so intense. And everyone goes, wait, what? And then they have to go to the next episode because you can't just end the first episode like that. And then beyond that, going into Attack on Titan, I thought the creativity into creating the 3DM gear, that's brilliant. Like, steampunk dream come true. It is so stinking cool. I love the idea of the Titans. And then the big reveal of Eren later on. So good. The animation in and of itself, like before season 2, like if you watch season 2, you can tell how successful season 1 was. And I give credit to Attack on Titan for being one of the rare ones at the time, like at the cusp when anime was just like before Hot Topic started doing anime. That's when Attack on Titan was coming out. Like I remember the flip when all of a sudden there was a lot of anime going on at Hot Topic. And Attack on Titan did that westernized flip. Like they're like the BTS. They weren't the first, and they're probably not like the only best, but they're the ones that the Western civilization latched onto pretty hardcore parkour when it first came out. I mean, cut to me saying that the studio did it a great disservice by not riding that wave and letting how many, like 5 years pass by before season 2 came out. But anyways, season 1 was so amazing. And then you go into season 2 and you saw, oh wow, like they got a lot of money. Like they really invested in that 3D animation and everything's vectorized. And you're like, that's a lot of extra manpower. That's a lot of extra hours. I mean, not knocking it, but you're like, you hired a little extra artist for that stuff. But even before they had that technology, the way they animated the action sequences and the artwork itself, if you've seen the first couple volumes of Attack on Titan, I mean, it's okay. I say this with the utmost respect. It's not like pretty art. And I'm a pretty art kind of person when I read stuff. It's not pretty art. Like everyone's like, Levi's so cute. He ain't cute in those first couple volumes. Like he got 5 head and like no features. He looked crazy. I mean, and then, you know, the mangaka, he gets Isayama gets better with his artwork. And I mean, it is a vast difference from current to before. But their translation of that artwork into the anime, so good. The seiyus for all of the Japanese seiyus for all of the characters, on point. I usually don't like the cool characters when they first show up. And I did that with this too. Like when Levi and the veterans of the Survey Corps first showed up, I wasn't immediately like, oh my gosh, you're so cool. It takes me a while to fall in love. And then when I do, I fall hard. And I fell hard for Levi. I fell hard for Hanji. Fell hard for Erwin and Mike and Nanaba and Nifa and Moblet. Like the entire veteran corps. All the way up to like Shadis. Yeah, if you don't know Shadis' story. And Pixis? Oh, Pixis is who I want to be Pixis was my sister, mind you. Pixis was great. Attack on Titan, I will always recommend. It's just, even to now, I love everything about it so much. I'm such an action person, but I love the story behind it. It also gets really controversial because it delves into the realm of like, I mean, it's getting there in the anime, but of like colonization or mass genocide, or the most basic principle of the greater good. The one versus the many. Is one life worth millions of lives? And if it's not, then if one life isn't equal to millions of lives, then no life matters. It's one of those things. Again, it gets really existential really quick. But at least that first season, it hooks you nicely. Like, if you're fresh to anime, I tell people to watch Attack on Titan. Then I'm like, that's gonna be me, like in general. Like, yes, that is me. I am not only Aaron, who has so much feeling that sometimes I don't know how to express it. I am not only Armin, who's just a stress ball change all the time. I'm not only Mikasa, who in my mind I think I'm really strong. And I'm not only the naked Titan running around that's kind of a mess and doesn't know what's going on. I am all these characters. I am Hanji, I am Levi, I am Erwin, I am Pixis, I am Shadis, I am Annie, I am Ymir. Like, that is all of those characters I felt Bertolt, baby, oh, Reiner. Like, I felt for all these characters, and I just love Attack on Titan. Like, come on. You can't go wrong. Now, another one that, like, people on Core forget this too, but I don't, that me and Soulmate really love, but we don't talk about. Everyone knows Sonali loves card captors. Everyone knows I love Dragon Ball Z. We know what everyone likes. We know Little loves Naruto. And we know that Ryu and Joseph have a close relationship with Naruto because they played it. But when I tell you I am a hardcore nerd for Naruto, Like, I don't just knock on Sasuke just to knock on him. I knock on him because I freaking love Naruto. Like, I could geek out about Naruto forever. I remember when Soulmate was catching up with Shippuden, and she was geeking out about Jiraiya for at least 8 months. Jiraiya is one of her favorites. She's wanted to cosplay him for 1,000 years. But, like, the concepts of everything in Naruto. Naruto is really important to a lot of us on Core. And we don't forget about it, but we kind of do because other things overshadow it. But this is definitely, like, I mean, it's a staple. If you want to know one of the big three, one of the most iconic shonen animes, like, this defines a generation to this day. And, like, I can't even really go into Naruto without spending the next 32 hours talking about how much I love, how much I hate, how much I adore, how much I obsess over Naruto. But, like, definitely, I tell people, like, when I work at Barnes, if people are in the section, I always check, you know, if they're looking at the manga, the people that are looking at Naruto, and I'm like, are you just getting into it? Are you seasoned? Have you watched the episodes? Are you in Shippuden yet? Are you at the point where you are now going to have to take camp? Are you going to have to pick a side? Are you pro Sasuke? Are you anti Sasuke? You can only be one. There's no middle ground. And if you're a middle ground, you're a liar. You're a liar or you haven't finished the series. There's no middle ground. Anyways, Naruto's definitely on the recommend list. And then the most recent one, simply for its beauty. Okay. Y'all. I remember this was one of the last nights of HQ, of living at HQ. And it was after rehearsal. Gotten my fast food, and me and Sonali and Joseph, because we all came from work, we came home differently with our different fast food. And one of the things I loved at HQ was that you could come into my room and we would sit on the floor and eat in my room and watch anime. Ow, mother trucker. And it wasn't like my door was just always open for that. And it was like, we would have mini sleepovers. And I remember sitting down and I was catching up on Demon Slayer, but I only wanted to watch Demon Slayer if Sonali could watch it with me. I needed her to watch it with me because I was like, I have no one to talk to. And so she would always sit there. And then Joseph came home. He was like, wait, can I watch with you guys? And Demon Slayer also holds a special place because of this last memory at HQ was all of us sitting there after rehearsal, tired as all get out, so sore because we've just been training Boku no Hero, and we were eating and we're watching the last couple episodes. Not the last couple. I think it's the last couple episodes of the spider arc. The spider demon arc. And, I remember pausing and turning to them and go, why is this so beautiful? Like, beautiful as in it's gorgeous. The animation is gorgeous. That alone is a reason to watch it. If you like pretty things, watch Demon Slayer. It's pretty. It's real pretty. It's like moon crystal tiara magic pretty. It is pretty, like beautiful. The other side is everyone loves Inosuke. I know this. I know everyone loves Inosuke. And so many people were like, I'm so annoyed with Zenitsu. Zenitsu first showed up and I said, that is everyone in the world who loves anime. We would be Zenitsu. People don't like Zenitsu because he is a reflection on you. If you ended up in the world of Demon Slayer, you're Zenitsu. Crying every 2 seconds. Doesn't even know what to do. Stressed out. Freaking out. A mess. Annoying. Yes, I'm saying it. You're annoying. I'm annoying. I know I'm Zenitsu. Some people, we had this whole debate on Core, and some people on Core were like, I wouldn't be Zenitsu. And I'm like, you're going to see a giant spider demon. You're going to be chill with it. Y'all, some of you can't make it, through a weekend at a con. You got to make it through a demon infested world. Really? No. Really? No. You're not. You're not. And I hold to that. Zenitsu is my favorite human being. Specifically because in the spider arc, and I hate spiders, major arachnophobe, in the spider arc, I can't even watch it at that point. I was like, need to know what's going on, but like this is like it's just a head. It's so low. And there was a part where I said, "Why are you so big?" I yelled at it. And literally right after that, Zenitsu runs away yelling, "Why are you so big?" And in that moment I wanted to cry. So I was like, "Zenitsu, baby, we are meant to be best friends. I think you are me and I am you. And I think together we are one." He is relatable. The best. Tanny, little Tanjiro. I call him Tanny. I started calling him Tanny from the beginning. I started little Tan. Little Tanny is so stinking cute. Love him. Only thing I hate about Demon Slayer, weird brother-sister relationship. Like, that's weird. It's weird. I don't like that. It's weird. No one's like that. It's weird. But Tanny, on his own, he's a Taurus. He just loves and cares for people so much. He's a Hufflepuff. Like, they made the Hufflepuff the main character. So stinking cute. Tell me Tanny's not a Hufflepuff. He's a Huff. He's a Hufflepuffle. I love Demon Slayer. Anyways, those are my recommendations as of right now. I also have some honorable mentions, but before we get into that, I think little Nifa and my sister also have their recommendations. So I'm going to hand it off to them, and they're going to recommend you some of their favorite animes or the ones that like will just hook you into the anime world. So let's see what they have to say.
Do you like anime? Do you like Naruto? Have you seen Soul Eater? Well, then you need to watch Fire Force, because Fire Force is the best anime that has been releasing recently. It is so good. Ugh. Shinra is best boy. So seriously, if you have not seen Fire Force yet, go watch it because you will love it.
What's up, comrades? Sammy here with some anime recommendations for y'all. I have 3 things to recommend to you today. The first one is a gorgeous isekai anime. That's when someone or something gets reincarnated or brought over into another world, but it's called Ascendance of a Bookworm. I can't pronounce the Japanese title for the anime because it's really long and the last word always, I mess up on it. But it's this beautiful story of this woman, Mine, who gets transported into another world, and her love of books causes her to just like go a little crazy, but in a good way, where she just wants to make and read books. Like, that's all she wants to do. So she uses all of the like real world knowledge that she's gotten from all the books she's read in her past life, and she uses it in her new life. And it's just very wholesome. It's beautiful. The plot lines in this anime are so nicely and tightly done. Like, if you're a plotline junkie like me, you will absolutely love this. And it's also beautifully animated. So check out Ascendance of a Bookworm. I also want to recommend, I believe this is also on Crunchyroll. It's called Flying Witch. Now, if you really liked Kiki's delivery service and you just kind of wish you could have gotten to know Kiki and the town a little bit better, you will love Flying Witch. It's got a very simple, very clean animation style, and it's all about this witch who moves to a little rural village with her, like, I think cousins, and she just, flourishes in the town. She spends time with her cute little cat, getting to know her family and getting to know the village, introducing different characters and things like that. It's very wholesome. Also, if you like anime that includes a lot of like Japanese food, there's a lot of food in this one, so it's very nice to enjoy. And again, beautifully animated. The last anime that I want to recommend is actually an anime filmed. It's called Makia When the Promised Flower Blooms. It's directed by Mari Okada, and it's just this gorgeous anime film. Makia tells a really, really real story. Like, not real in a sense that it's like real world, but the emotions and the storylines that these people go through just feel so real, and they're so beautifully done. Again, this is an art style that is just going to render you speechless. Like, it's one of the most beautiful things I've watched, and not too many people know about it. So it's Maquia, Maquia, When the Promised Flower Blooms, and it's on Amazon Prime. That's where I watched it. So if you have Prime Video, you can totally rent it there. I think there's a few other places you can watch it, but highly recommend. It's not that long of an anime film from what I remember, so it's not like it'll take up too much of your time to watch, but you should definitely check it out. So again, my 3 recs were Ascendance of a Bookworm, Flying Witch, and Maquia, When the Promised Flower Blooms. Enjoy!
Okay, I always say Spirited Away. I'm a little blurry. Because that's like my comfort movie and my go-to. And so if someone kind of wants to have like a fast-track version of getting to know me in my brain, that's always a good one. And hopefully it'll inspire them to like watch more Hayao Miyazaki movies. And then series-wise, I always say Death Note. Probably not like the easiest one to swallow if you've never watched anime, but I think the story is so good. Like it's it's dark obviously, but it's so clever and so brilliant that I feel like the story will hold people in, you know.
No, it's
So I have Joseph here with me. Wait, let me move this over here. I only watch it because you
Why
always.
does your head look so huge?
Well, I mean it because it is.
I mean, because you're also right in front of the camera.
But I also have a big head.
Hey,
I mean,
it's
this
not
is.
like a Steve's.
I mean, you're in so much darkness. Hold on, let me fix this.
No, it's fine. I look positively tanned.
There we go.
Still
A little
tan.
little bit brighter. Okay, but okay. You're Joseph's a liar. What I do like is that if a new anime's on Netflix, you'll just start watching it.
Oh, true.
Like we watched. What was that one we watched with the
What
Sins?
was, the 7 Deadly Sins?
No, not
I
7 Deadly
I
Sins.
recommend that one. I love that one.
You do watch 7 Deadly Sins,
What
but
was
the
the-
other one with
Oh, the one with the dragon?
yes, with the dragon.
Oh, the
What is
dragon,
that?
the dragon on Netflix. It had to do with a game. It's not Castlevania. It is.
You also watched Castlevania.
Okay, Castlevania is a really good one. Okay, right. If it's on Netflix, okay. If it's okay. Anime recommendations. If it's on Netflix, there's a good chance that I've seen it,
Yeah.
or at least watched like 1 or 2 episodes.
And what I like is that you just started. Like
Yeah,
I
I just,
have
like-
so many qualms about starting something new, but
No,
Joseph will
I'm
be
just
like,
I have a like, because you know that when you have dinner and you're waiting,
yeah.
you scroll through Netflix or Hulu, whatever, just to
Yeah.
be sure that you can have something to watch while you eat.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that is. So
Yeah.
I'll start an anime while watching, and then I'll just sit there and watch it. But okay, the one we're trying to do, Dragon. Did anyone comment it? No. Anyway, that one's a good one. But recommendations, I would say 7 Deadly Sins. You have to. Okay, this sounds sort of bad, but you have to get past season 2. Season 2's terrible.
Wait, so you're saying you have to
7
watch
Deadly Sins.
season 1
You
and
can watch season 1, skip 2 if you want, or like watch the last 3 episodes, actually 3-4 episodes, just to understand what happens in season 3. There's a small like season of like 4 episodes. Those are all just filler. Don't watch those. But it literally is filler. Don't care.
Hey.
The filler is fine, but if you want to get through the plot,
Yeah.
you're gonna need to like.
So
skip
many
those.
people hate filler episodes, but like that one in Naruto where they have to go rescue like the dog or something.
No, the one in Naruto where they literally talk about Kakashi's face. That's the best.
Oh,
filler
that's the
episode.
best one.
That's the best filler
I loved
episode.
Naruto's filler episode. Side tangent. The filler episode where they use the little neck radios. That okay. If anyone knows what I'm talking about, it's from the first series, like the before Shippuden. It's like one of the first. It's like just missions of Team 7, and they're like trying to get a cat or a dog. I don't know. They're trying to get someone's. They're doing those stupid missions that ninjas, because you need a ninja to get your cat. Like they're the police force, but they had these radios that were like they go to their ear and they're on their throat, and they press the button here to talk into it, and it threw me because I was like, "What's this technology? What era are we in? What are we doing? Don't they have ninja powers?" I'm confused. It threw me, that radio thing.
I don't. That's Nope. Mm-mm.
Watch that episode.
Also,
That's gonna throw you off.
like, the first series of Naruto, I vaguely remember. I only remember tuning exams.
Okay.
And
Fair.
The one, I don't know if it's, I think it's, no, it has to be before Shippuden. It was one of the filler episodes, or filler seasons, actually, where they delved into the other Nine Tails. That was technically, I believe, a filler season. I'm not sure.
A filler season?
They had a season of fillers.
I
was upset because I was waiting every week. Nope. I think that was in Shippuden. Anyway, I might be getting my seasons mixed up with Seven Deadly Sins, but one of the seasons, it just was too fan servicey. I didn't care for it.
I remember you talking about that.
I don't care about fan service.
Yeah.
But the latest season of Seven Deadly Sins that's on Netflix now, stinking good. So stinking good. And I like Seven Deadly Sins because it's not as predictable. At least I don't think it's as predictable as other animes are, or like other shows are.
Yeah, it's like not super linear.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. Or at least it has an arc per each season, which is also really nice. I like those kinds of setups too for those animes. Also, I mentioned earlier Castlevania. Okay, I only watched Castlevania for the nomad woman, because she is a waterbender. I mean, she's a spellcaster, but her magic when she uses all of the water-based ones are stinking cool. It's beautifully animated.
I didn't watch that, right?
No, I don't think so. It is so beautiful.
Is Castlevania
It makes me want to play the game because it's based off the game.
Yeah. Is Castlevania the one I came in where she was like feeding the guy who was in the dungeon, and then she's like a bat, and she's like a vampire? I don't know. Do you remember? I came in and I just sat and I watched this episode where she was like, there's a prisoner, and she's like a lady, and she's eating with him, and you think she's nice, but she's actually like a bad guy too. No. Okay.
Oh, I did watch another anime. What was it? Also on Netflix and or Hulu. I think it was Hulu. But the premise was every like X amount of years, let's say like 100 years, whatever, like there's supposed to like be this calamity that happens, but then they like they like draw upon all like the heroes of the world to like come together, to band together and like fight this evil, this calamity. But then like one of them was like a spy, not really one, because they all get marked with like a thing, like some insignia to define who they are. I remember watching it. So like any anime that deals with powers or like heroes or like something with like seven deadly sins, like literally, or like stuff like that. Like what's that? That sounds really interesting. So it was interesting. Then it got to the point where like at the end of the season, I was like really over it because the arc was basically like, who was the non-hero? Like, this hero infiltrated this band. Like, there's one person that's not the hero. And so it was like watching a game of Among Us or a werewolf, but in an anime, because they were all these supposed heroes, but one of them is not.
Good. That's pretty good.
And it was just really cool. It's just like one of them, her powers was she can control spirits that she's ingested. And so in order for her to control the spirits or like use it, she has to like throw up. So she has those, what are those flowers that look like there's a long stem, it's like brown, it looks fuzzy, whatever. She like has that handy just like so that she can eat it. I guess so, I don't know. So she could eat it so she could puke out the spirit thingies that she uses for battle. That was interesting.
Do the spirits have different powers, or like Pokemon, or just like in general? They're just like,
I don't know. They're like general spirits.
Okay, it's
let's
like
say,
Clouds
let's say
from
general
Umbrella.
spirits. It was interesting, but a lot of the animes I'll watch, I'll also just put up on
Supernatural
while I'm sewing.
bulimia.
While I'm sewing, so
That's true.
So they'll just like play and I'll like pay attention. That's as far as I can think of. An older one, if you are part of our Patreon, if you are a patron, you'd know that I love Future Diary. So
I thought that you were gonna say Digimon.
Well, I mean, I feel like Digimon's a given, but I can't say that just because I haven't watched the reboot of Digimon Adventure 2020.
Oh yeah.
And I want to, and I will, but first I need to finish Try. I also don't want to finish Try because I know a certain Digimon dies per his trope, and it sucks, and a lot of other things. But anyway, Future Diary. I believe it came out around the time like Hunger Games was popular, like in the young adult genre of let's pit these people against each other for the end of the world kind of idea, you know? And Future Diary dealt with this boy who sort of, again, in this like battle arena had to go against other adults in order to like get whatever wish they want. But the thing is, they all have a certain power, and that power is tied to their phone. So for instance, like one of the characters in it, her phone can only tell the future of the guy that she stalks.
Oh, I do remember you talking about this.
This is an old anime. I enjoy it. I believe it's on Netflix. It's called Future Diary, or it's on a subscription. And I just know my coworker like put it on as background noise. And I was like, oh my god, that's Future Diary. I was like, I love Future Diary. I don't know. I like the themes. I used to like post-apocalyptic, fight for the end of the world, or the future of the world kind of animes, and I always thought those were interesting. But I like Future Diary because it was just an interesting take on that kind of genre, and a way to be like, well, what if this person, this is probably arbitrary, but one of the powers for his was like stock market prices. I don't know.
The Dow Jones.
I know, it's so stupid like that. But I don't know. I liked Future Diary, and I would put it as background noise or like watched it over again. But I haven't seen it in a while.
I need to look at that one.
It's interesting. It's fun, and then there's the twist at the end, and I'm not gonna spoil it, but it was left field. Great.
Left field. Great. Two recommend honorable mentions that I wanted to put for my anime recommendations. One is, if you know, I like Dragon Ball Z, but I'm not like Dragon Ball Z Super that ever like this current people with their loving cauliflower, whatever her name is. Not my steez. It's old school, and I tell people either watch Dragon Ball, not Dragon Ball Z, like the androids.
The first Z.
Yeah. Not, and then no one talks about Dragon Ball GT because I was just.
I liked it for what it was growing up watching GT, but then realizing how much Trunks was like not a badass, I was sorely disappointed.
That's why I hated it. Pam wasn't bad.
It was definitely not a cash grab, but the introduction or the use of Trunks for GT was definitely for clout.
Oh yeah, they brought him in and then they made him like the dad, and I hated it. He was like a lame dad, and I was like, he was such a bad, like Future Trunks was badass, and so that's why I say start with the Future Trunks when he first comes in, and then go into androids and cell games. That's some classic Dragon Ball Z. Side note and side plug: if you're not following our Eren Yeager on Twitch, go follow him. It's Adam Longsword, because that's his last name. Larga Espada is Adam Longsword. He streams the Dragon Ball Z video game.
Those are so much fun.
It's beautiful.
Have you ever played it?
No, I was literally watching him play it, and the animation, and he was like talking to me about it.
It's so good.
Also, because he's a professor, he's really good at holding a conversation and playing at the same time.
That's still weird.
It's still weird. He's like, Eren Yeager should not be teaching anyone. Like, the character shouldn't be. But it's just funny that our Eren Yeager is. But so he plays it, and I was telling him, I was like, why is this game so beautiful? And he was like, they based it off of the original Dragon Ball. They tried to make it look like the original Dragon Ball animations, and they succeeded, and it is gorgeous. So go follow Adam Longsword on Twitch. He plays it. He's so good at it. I forget how good he is at video games. He's just really good at playing, especially anything that's tournament based. But that's one of my recommendations. My other one is, I do love Trunks. He's right there.
Trunks.
My little future Trunks is right next to me.
The Funko Pop.
The other one is, of course, I'll always recommend Avatar: The Last Airbender. And I don't think it's even a discussion. Is it an anime? Everyone asks that question. Has anyone ever said no?
Some people
argue
would
that it's
argue because of where it was produced.
Yeah,
But if that's the case, then Atla is a cartoon, but Legend of Korra is an anime.
See, and then you would
Because
say
Legend
then
of
Young
Korra was
Justice.
outsourced to.
I was gonna say then Young
Korea
Justice would
and
be an
Japan.
anime too, but it's not. Like it's not, and that's where everyone always says that. Everyone always says like Avatar based off of production is American based, but everyone agrees it's technically an anime. Like
It's an anime.
it's an anime, especially too because they specifically chose that color palette to reflect Japanese animation.
Yeah.
U.S. color palettes are very harsh, bold colors, as opposed to anime or Avatar: The Last Airbender. But I don't recommend when I recommend ATLA. I don't say like start from episode 1. I always say start with the Blind Bandit episode.
No.
What? You can't say no to my recommendation.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. As a purist, start episode 1. Continue.
Anyways, for people who don't know what it is, and they're like, I don't even know if I really like it. And I go, just watch The Blind Bandit. Just if you want to get a taste of it, watch that. And I used to say that all through college. And I would show it to people on my computer because I had the seasons, all the seasons that were available at the time. And I'd show them that episode and they go, what is this? This is brilliant. And I go, cool. Here's disc 1. Here's episode 1. And now you begin. And that's how I'd hook people into ATLA back in college, was showing them The Blind Bandit. Because they didn't know. They're like, what is this? And I'm like, let's find out. They're like, this is on Nickelodeon? And they're like, Nickelodeon makes this? And I was like, the geniuses behind SpongeBob also created this. So, yes. Those were my recommendations. Those were Little's and Nifa's and my sister's and Joseph's recommendations. Of course, we love Legend of Korra.
Legend of Korra.
I don't care if people don't like it.
We love it.
You couldn't make anything better. That's my argument. People are like, I don't like Legend of Korra. Okay, then you also making some. It's like when people knock us for our sets, and I'm like, oh yeah, go ahead and make your own crew. And I'm serious about that. I'm really excited to see what you come up with because I think it'll be great. And then they don't do it, and I'm like, so what were we talking about?
Is coffee water? Coffee's definitely bean juice. Hot.
It is hot.
Bean juice.
It's hot bean juice.
Then if you get a vanilla latte, it's hot bean juice.
Almond milk is nut water. It
is.
It's
That's
nut-
how you make it.
It's nut water.
And so same as like oat milk. That's oat water.
It is. It's oat water.
But I like oat water.
Anyways, yes, we also love Legend of Korra as well.
Legend of Korra.
We each have a different Korra. I have the Avatar Spirit Korra, and he has,
I have the book 1. She's bending the 3 elements.
but not air because
Not air. Or she is, and you
Oh,
just
yeah.
can't see it. Oh, speaking of theories, I read this theory about airbending is only animated so that we can see it. But imagine if you were in the Atla world, you see someone airbending, all they're doing is this.
And then you get hit.
And you get hit with an air. Like, what?
So technically, it's like telekinesis.
It's really
They're just
funny.
like-
I think it's really funny.
They're like Prue when Prue does that. Anyways, yeah. So, yeah. So those are our recommendations and everything. I mean, I'm not gonna say throw your recommendations out in the comments because you guys put them in the comments over there. And just say love the ideas, but trust. Me and Sonali have a plethora of ideas that we're gonna do first, and I saw everyone talking about Soul Eater. It's a lot more than just. I mean,
Eating souls? Do they eat souls? I've never seen Soul Eater.
I don't know, but when you cast, it's so much more in depth than just like you can't say one person is one thing. You can't until you investigate the character, until you watch them dance, until you watch them encompass, because you always think someone is going to be someone and then they're not. That happened with Ida for Boku no Hero. It wasn't supposed to be Shaolin. Shaolin was perfect for it. So, gotta throw that out there for you guys. Don't just start casting things. It's a long and hard art that me and Soulmate put a lot of pride into. So,
There's so much Atla things I want to say.
oh, because they're saying
Because Sarah thinks that Tally is an air nomad descendant. Crazy. So Katara, when she was the water spirit in that one episode in book 3, with the painted lady. She's the painted lady.
the what?
The
Plunge.
painted lady. The plunge. Sprap.
Plunge.
That makeup, the painted lady was inspired Kyoshi's makeup, and Kyoshi's makeup is like loosely based off the painted lady. Plus, like, she was also part of this opera gang, and She's bisexual. She lived for like over 100 years. Kyoshi's amazing. Yang Chen sucks. She does.
Yeah.
Kuruk is underrated. What else? Trivia do I know about Atla? All the lovers of each avatar is like reincarnated. So is like reincarnated with them, or like their face is. So like, Kuruk's girl whose face was stolen by Ko. Her face is like made or like reincarnated into the next Avatar cycle's love interest. So the next in line was Kyoshi. Kyoshi's love interest had this very similar face to Ko. Or no, I'm getting it wrong. They have the face of the one that they loved in the previous life. That's what it was.
I remember seeing that.
That's what it was. Mm-hmm.
Also, I love that it's
That's
canon.
why Korra looks like Katara.
Yeah. Well, and I also just love that, like, in general, the Avatar has always had a female companion or, like, life partner, whatever. I just love the consistency of that.
Because women do it better.
Said it from Miss Anime herself.
Women.
Anyways. They're just theories. A lot of those are just theories. Some of them were confirmed by the creators, but I mean, go find the creators to confirm that. Anyways, that's my recommendations. That's anime recommendations for this week. We will get more into anime as we go along. We will probably just start dedicating episodes to specific animes. I know next week I'm going to hit a hot topic, and everyone's not going to listen to me because they're going to be talking in the comments.
Oh, I thought you meant the story.
No. No, I'm going to hit shipping.
Wars.
Yes. Well, I'm going to hit shipping and how. And what I'm mainly going to talk about is how it ruins characters.
You're going to talk about shipping and handling.
Actually, I am. I'm going to talk about shipping and how people handle it.
So bad.
Wrongly. Poorly. Poor handling. I have complaints. That's going to be the name of the episode. Shipping and handling.
Shipping and handling.
That's a great subtitle for the episode. Anyways, tomorrow, we have a brand new episode of Baking with Penguins featuring Zhao. So it's been a hot second, and it's not her fault.
Amazing.
I know. This is totally my fault getting the second episode of Baking with Penguins out, but it is coming tomorrow. One more time. Baking with Penguins.
Penguinos.
Excuse me, I
and penguinas. Penguin
featuring Joe.
Penguin.
Joe is going to tackle fruit tarts. We got to eat those fruit tarts when she made
delicious.
them. They were great. She also like makes them nice and then packages them nice.
Yeah, like why?
Because it's Joe.
But there is no answer to why other than because.
I mean, same with like when we film things just for training. Joe does it with a really good camera and she's just like,
and then,
that's so good, and you're like, dang it, Joe. Like submission level Asian. Full.
I mean, submission level of like
A++. Yeah, A++. So that is happening, and then I don't have a promo for it, but this Friday we do have another Work on Your Core. With Rio, our very own Sushi, will be teaching artistry, her artwork. She's a great artist. I don't want to say like drawer or cartoonist. She's an artist. She literally is an artist. So she will be teaching us her art skills, drawing, and going through that with us for Work on Your Core. So all our fellow artists out there, if you want to hop on to Instagram, and if you are a patron, then you get to hop onto the Zoom. Zoom is now exclusive to patrons, so make sure you check us out on Patreon. $2 to join, and you can get exclusive access to the Zoom and to do the Q&A afterwards. Otherwise, you can tune into her Work on Your Core class on TikTok and on Instagram. If you're not following us on TikTok, I mean, that's fine. That's okay.
Did anyone blind react to that one that I showed you?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh.
I know my sister was trying to.
I want to know.
Yeah. Join us on Core Talk. Join us on Core Talk, and it'll be great. Anyways, yeah. Next week I will be talking about shipping. Zutara is going to be on there.
Rappers? You ship rappers? What does that say?
I'm literally going to talk about Zutara. I'm going to talk about Kachako. I'm going to talk about Levy Hong.
Rare pairs. Sorry.
Rare pairs? Oh, yeah. No ships defend because my brain only ships rare pairs.
I'm
I'm not even going to be defending ships. I'm not even talking about my ships. I'm talking about how people...
The crack ships.
Not even the crack ships. I hate how people take ships and then completely destroy character development or character relationships by giving it that one layer of, oh my gosh, they like each other. And I'm like, oh my gosh, human relationships are so much more multifaceted and complicated than that. And you just literally ruined like the whole Ochako ship at Sports Festival. That was all about Ochako. And everyone's like, her and Bakugo. And I'm like, did you forget the whole growth that Ochako went through? You literally just negated everything she went through by shipping her with Bakugo because of this episode. I'm so mad.
Men suck.
I'm mad. Shippers ruin everything.
They do. That reminds me of a real life experience. Someone tried to ship two of my coworkers together, and then my coworkers were like, "That's unsolicited. We don't like this." And they all dropped him. They were like, "We don't like this," and they dropped him as a friend. It was great.
Shippers ruin everything.
Shippers ruin everything.
You don't ship things. You don't ship. You guys,
Ship
Zutara's
with
so
consent.
problematic. I'm
Ship
not a
with
fan
consent.
of Zutara. I'm not a fan of Zutara.
I was once a fan, and I drew artwork for it.
I
did.
like their
I
friendship,
did.
but I think it's weird to ship someone with someone who tried to kill them. I think that's weird.
Hot.
It's like you tried to kill my brother, my grandmother, me, my friend Aang, repeatedly, and then you betrayed me like 82 times. But yeah, let's fall in love. Bad. Y'all have weird.
Oh my god, speaking of grandmothers, so back to Atla.
What? Speaking
The
of
segue, right?
grandmothers? Anyways, all right. So we're gonna end there. I'll probably Joseph come back. We'll have a ATLA episode. We'll have those. Yeah. So next week, shipping and handling. That's it for this week. Thank you for tuning in. That's it. Soda Mage. I don't even know. Everyone was talking about Soul Eater. I don't even know if they knew any of the recommendations. So, anyways, on to next week. Have a great week. Be safe. Wear a mask. Don't go out. Soda Mage 1, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Sorbido.